Hello and happy June. June is a very special month as it celebrates LGBTQIA Pride Month. Let's begin by discussing a brief history of the celebration of Pride and the LGBTQIA community. The acronym LGBTQIA stands for lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual, queer, intersex, and asexual, and others. This acronym encompasses most, if not all, of the queer community. Since the 1990s, the acronym has expanded from LGBT to include more identities. Pride began as a riot pioneered by several trans women of color in New York City. The story begins in Greenwich Village, a neighborhood in lower Manhattan, specifically in the Stonewall Inn, a popular gay bar in the 1960s. The riots began with a police raid of the inn, which occurred often as queerness was criminalized during this time period. The riots ensued for several days, led by trans women of color Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Johnson, and drag king Storm DeLavery. These and several other people played a pinnacle role in the Stonewall Uprising. 1 year after the Stonewall Uprising, on June 28, 1970, the first Pride parades were held in New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Since then, the celebration and recognition of the queer community has grown worldwide. Now that we've covered a brief history, let's talk about some important people. Let's start with Marsha P. Johnson, a black trans woman from New Jersey. Johnson moved to New York City at the age of 17, where she began working as a server. While in New York, Johnson met Sylvia Rivera, an 11-year-old Puerto Rican trans girl. The two became friends, and in 1971, they co-founded a group called STAR. Another significant person is Storm DeLavery, a black butch lesbian and drag king, originally from New Orleans. Storm was a performer and singer all her life, and her fiery presence and activism at the Stonewall Uprising contributed greatly to the LGBTQ+ cause. In the realm of politics and activism, we have Bayard Rustin. Rustin was a prominent figure in the civil rights movement in the United States. In 1948, he studied Gandhian principles for several weeks in India, and he passed these ideas on to Martin Luther King Jr., who he worked with closely during the civil rights movement. In the realm of science, we have Alan Turing. Turing helped decipher many Nazi-encoded messages and transmissions during the Second World War, and following the war, he worked in England to design the automatic computing engine, known as ACE, at the National Physical Laboratory. In 1952, Turing was arrested for homosexuality after calling the police regarding a burglary of his home. He was open about his sexuality until his death in 1954. In the arts, we have Jean-Michel Basquiat. Basquiat was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1960. Raised by Haitian and Puerto Rican parents, he is a self-taught artist who began by doing graffiti work around the city. He is also well known for his collaboration with pop artist Andy Warhol, and several of his paintings have sold for millions of dollars each. He died at the age of 27 in 1988 in New York City. In the area of sports, we have Renee Richards. Richards is a transgender tennis player who is known for being one of the first transgender athletes. In 1976, she tried out for the U.S. Open. She refused to take the bar body test to find out her sex, and she sued the United States Tennis Association on the basis of gender discrimination and won her case. She retired from tennis in 1981. LGBTQ+ history is a vital part of our nation's history, and it does us all good to learn about the struggles as well as accomplishments of this community. Thank you for helping cultivate awareness, and stay tuned for more.